Hello, I'm Fragiskos Filipeos. I'm the Deputy Director for the Southeast Network for Social Sciences, and I'm joined by George Evangelou from the School of Psychology at Goldsmiths University, London, talking about collaborative projects. Collaborative projects are supervisor-led projects that we run once a year. The important aspect of those projects is that the supervisors need to bring an external collaboration. Over the years, we have been able to fund over 40 of those projects, giving the opportunity to some of those doctoral researchers to engage with external organizations and have real impact of their doctoral research on the public. So, George, tell us a bit about yourself and the motivation behind applying to this project.
So I am George. I'm a psychology student from Goldsmiths, part of the SeNSS PhD program. And we are working on a collaborative project with Ultraleap. They are a tech company that use touchless tracking. It's a Leap motion camera. And with this, they pair this sort of mid-air haptic system, so it can provide touch sensation directly to the hand without having to touch anything physically. And then you can interact with different systems, be it virtual or within automotive environments, and so on, touchless kiosks. Their main question that they're interested in, which relates to psychology, is something we call a sense of agency. So that's generally people's sense of control over a system and how that system responds. And this is fundamental to human-computer interaction, which is our primary form of investigation. So they're interested in how to integrate these mid-air haptics into a system to foster that user's sense of agency. And we are basically investigating that using well-established measures from cognitive neuroscience and psychological methods to really scientifically, robustly investigate and inform this technology.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what was particularly exciting about this project that made you to think, oh, this is really nice, I would like to do this research, and you applied for it?
Well, from the psychological aspect, agency is a big interest of mine, and consciousness. And then obviously one of the quite exciting parts about it is very current. It's very new technology, recent, probably started developing in the last 5 years, so it hasn't fully reached the public, but it's starting to be integrated into there. And so when you merge that with psychology, and then we can start really scientifically informing how these products are made and how they're programmed to really foster users. Really, you want a sense of agency and a sense of control over a system when you're using it. So yeah, that was probably the most exciting part about it.
You talked a bit about the collaborative part. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a bit more about the relationship you have with them?
So we generally have one or two main contacts that are there. So it's a very collaborative, literally, kind of part of the research. So they will tell us maybe ideas that they are interested in the direction they're looking to go with their product, and then we try to integrate, okay, how can we study that methodologically and soundly from a psychological perspective. So we generally do very much work together, from the designing of the project to discussing the results, and even sometimes disseminating it as well to the public.
So what has been the most challenging part of this project for you so far?
Right, interestingly, the most challenging part is probably that collaboration aspect, because it's like industry with academia, and you've really got to navigate that carefully, so when they generally have a direction that they want to go with their product, and sometimes that might not have been the direction we were previously on from a psychological perspective. We've got to come to that middle ground where it's something that they are interested in, so it has a nice applicable notion of the research, and it's something that we can gain as well from a psychological perspective, so something we want to also understand about the self and the human psyche, but it's also applicable to their research, and sometimes that can be challenging, from the design process to the time scale of a project, and also in the publishing phase when you're looking to write up and communicate those results to the public.
I can really tell you're really passionate about this project, and you're really enjoying it. It's something that it tells in your body language and in the way you describe. So I imagine you had a number of rewarding moments throughout the last couple of years. Could you just highlight what has been the highlight of that?
Probably the most rewarding, funnily enough as well, is again that applicability. So when you can get there past the challenging aspects of it, it's ultimately just as rewarding. So yes, it's nice to understand, obviously, the psychological perspective. We find out things about what this touch sensation means for the self, but we also then get to see that be applied in the field. For example, I did a talk at Ultraleap. They actually do guest talks, so I went in as a guest and disseminated some of those results back to the company and then other people they had there. And that was an interest in, you know, communicating it to a tech audience and trying to find that middle ground as well of communicating those psychological results, but in a way that the tech understand and they can apply to their field. And then we also went to an even bigger conference. It was the World Haptics Conference, where I presented a paper there, and we had a paper published with that. And that went really well, and that was quite an interesting experience again, because it was quite tech focused, even though they do invite that interdisciplinary approach and they are interested in the psychological methods. You do have to communicate in that way that is fundamental to the tech audience as well.
Has this project changed at all or shaped at all your career aspirations?
Yeah, I would say it's got me thinking a lot more about this interdisciplinary approach, because it's, again, I know it's been talked about for a long time, but in terms of implementing it hasn't always been. If I look at studies from past studies, they don't always collaborate between the different disciplines. So sometimes they're not using certain methods correctly, or they're not using certain programs and technology correctly. So trying to make the research more sound, I'd say that's a big part of that.
Thank you very much, George. That was brilliant. So if you are an interested supervisor and you want to find a bit more about the collaborative competition that we run annually and how to build relationship with external partners, please contact us at SeNSS. Thank you very much.